It's Blake's Buzz Live. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, babies.
Buzz, babies, we're back for episode 15 of Blake's Buzz Live, and we've got some awesome comic book making motherfuckers in the house. We're going to talk about indie comics, we're going to have fun, going to have a good time. We're going to talk pirates and fighting and magic. And what's up, Will? How you doing?
Hey there. Sorry about that mix-up, guys.
Hey,
move Will closer to me. You move closer.
Just in time. Do I know how to do that? I think I know how to do that.
Oh, hey, there we go. What's up,
The
Will?
magic of science.
All
right, here, hold on. We'll pair everybody up. All right.
Now it's up top, right?
Got everybody paired up.
Oh yeah.
All right. Everything is together. We're together. We're here tonight, live. It's Wednesday. All right, it's Wednesday. They made us go back to the office today, guys. And that fucking sucked, man. Let me tell you. Been working from home for over a year, man. And now they want to do this like hybrid office shit. And the cheesiest part of it all was just like, other than the hassle and the lame part, is like, I got a new puppy, man. I miss my dogs. Like, I'm used to taking a break and can walk away from the computer and go inside and like love my dogs and give them treats, then go back to work. And like, I didn't get to do that today, man. It was weird. So yeah, anyways, I'm very excited to talk comic books tonight because I'm not in the office. And I'm just glad to be here, and hopefully you guys are too. Like, I'm gonna go around the room and introduce everybody real quick, and then we're gonna talk about 3 really awesome campaigns that are live right now for everybody who's watching to dive in and give these guys your money, and you should. And if you don't, you should think about that. You should let that marinate as to why you're not giving these guys your money when you could be giving them money and reading badass comics. Like, you guys got some shit to figure out, which is fine. I got shit to figure out too. But anyways, I digress. All right, I'm gonna go around the circle and we'll do quick intros. I always say quick intros, but they're never as quick as I think. My show runs long. We're trying to tighten things up. That's the new goal. We're trying to, all the comics, all the discourse, less clusterfuck, right? Still we need a little bit of clusterfuck, just slightly less. Because I get sleepy. Everybody gets sleepy, man. We got different time zones going on. People got day jobs. People got shit to do, So we're figuring it out as we go. I'm 15 episodes deep in this motherfucker, still figuring it out, right? Like, what do we know? Anyways. First up on the roundabout intro, we got Matt Wilding. Matt gave me permission to call him Matt, not Matthew, because he said we're friends now. Actually, he said I know him. He said I know him.
We talk a lot, Blake.
I'm gonna say we're friends. We do. Like,
I actually talk more to you than I talk to Matt Rowe. So,
well, that's Matt Rowe must not need as much direction. Like you are like a fucking Twitter like secret guru to me, man. You're like,
thank you.
I like really like, I'm like, I have these issues and Matt comes up and he's like, hey man, I got an idea. And I'm like, fuck, that's a really good idea. Like, wow. All right. So anyways, Matt Wilding, you're coming off a Source Point premiere from a couple weeks ago. You got a hot new pirate Kickstarter that's doing well, that people are talking about. That's a buzz with energy, right? Like, how you feeling these days, bud? How you doing?
I feel great, man. It's been so great to get involved in the indie comics community. I spent 15 or 20 years kind of thinking about it before I finally tried. And now that I've jumped in, Matt Rowe and I have found a little bit of early success, and we're just trying to build on it with weird history and horror takes. Feel great.
I like that. I'm glad you stood on that diving board for 20 years and then finally decided to jump, right? Like, we're happy you jumped in that pool.
The trick is to age a lot. It really helps a lot.
Comics keep you young, though.
Yeah, it really makes your writing stronger if you just like age badly. You just have a lot more to say.
I feel that.
So yeah, man, I feel awesome, and it's great to be on my second appearance on Blake's Buzz.
Yeah, happy to have you back on. And speaking of second appearances, this is the Matt and Matt show number 2 technically, right? So like we started with Nightmare Man, which fucked me up in a good way. Like I really dug it. We'll talk about Source Point tonight in a couple instances, but I love Source Point Press. They're cool people.
Great guys.
I always remind people of this story that Source Point Press was the first. So Aftershock Comics was the first people that put me on a press list, right? And like kind of like lifted me up and made me feel special. But Source Point Press was the first people that sent me like physical boxes full of their comics, and they were like, here, read these, talk about them, like we want. And I was like holy shit, I made it. Like, oh, what the hell? Like, it's crazy. And so I will always love Source Point Press for that. That they just like made me feel cool, and I think I dig their company. It's like 7 people working out of a garage, kind of. It's like you're not a garage. I mean, I think they have a building now, but it's a tight knit family. It's not a big company, and they're all just doing what they can to put out awesome comics, and they're putting out awesome comics. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing. They did great work with us, and everything else they put out is great. I literally haven't read a bad Source Point book yet. I suspect Matt and my book might be the worst one, and that's mostly.
Oh, don't go that far. don't go that far yet.
No, that's ridiculous. It can't. Well, if it is their worst one, then I mean,
it's a high bar. I mean, it's very,
the bar
really,
is high.
Very good. They do great work.
But so, anyways, I think that's really cool. I like the Matt and Matt show. Like I like that. Not just, I mean, it's cool that you guys have the same name sort of too, but like I'm not the same last name, obviously, but it's like Matt squared. Like it's these and you guys are making fucking dope shit, and I love Matt's art. Like and I love your storytelling, and I'm excited to like. I hope months down the road you guys are back on here with another book we can talk about, because I want you guys to keep making comics because you're good at it.
An endless supply. So don't worry about that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I keep on taking up too much time. Yeah, man, I feel awesome. Matt Rowe is also awesome. He's that way. Let's hit that guy.
Yeah. So next up, I already mentioned Matt Rowe, one of the hottest indie comics artists in the game right now, drawing some pirates, drawing some. Oh man, there's that scene in your guys' new comic where that guy gets hung, and like, holy shit, man! Like the motion lines and the skin tearing, and like that was fucking heavy, man. And it looked great on the. I always feel weird when I'm like, it was so gruesome and gross and epic, and like, oh, it's everything I wanted in a comic, just blood squirting everywhere, children are crying. Felt great. Love that scene. But Matt, no, I love your art. I love you just seem like a really cool dude. We've chatted a bit online. I haven't got you into this clusterfuck yet, but now you can't escape. It's too late to back out now, baby.
Man,
but we're
Blake,
happy to have you.
I gotta say, how to hype up a damn podcast or live stream, whatever this is. This is amazing. I've not experienced this in comics just yet. You're a real one. But yeah, I'm Matt Rowe, known for the Eternal Dieback from my Rovers comics, as well as my work with Wilding and on Nightmare Man, Little Things, and our Kickstarter that's live right now. You can go check out Free Hands.
Free Hands is the new one. And so did you're sole creator on Eternal Dieback, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah,
I
that was
so.
on me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he wanted nothing.
He's like, yeah, I did that. It was me. I
got
woke up one day and I was bored and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking fuck the fantasy genre up hard right now.
I was like, do you want any help on that script? And he was like, no. Please stop.
I'd had enough of him by that point, right? I thought Little Things was just going to be a one-off, and then he's like, "Hey, I got this Nightmare Man thing," and I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Hey, I got this pirate thing," and I'm like, "Hey, you know what? Have you ever tried to draw a pirate hat?"
No.
Not fun. Not fucking fun. But I got it down nonetheless, and the book looks awesome. Took a break real quick to do dieback, and we'll have some more of that coming later this year, hopefully. But yeah, right now the main focus is just freehands. It's a bunch of pirate carnage, adventure noir, really just a really fun tale. If you haven't seen our stuff online, at Matthew Wilding on Twitter and Instagram, at Matt Rowe on Twitter and Instagram, check us out. We're trying to promote real heavy. I think we got what is it, Wilding? A week left.
Yeah, we had a week left, and we got 155 backers. We're a little over $3,100.
Wow, that was fast.
Our goal. So we're feeling pretty good, but yeah, we can certainly take the help.
Marathon's not over, is what he means.
Kickstarters have never felt faster than when I started doing this show. Because like people are like, Blake, I want to come on the show, and I'm like, oh, cool, we got time, and then I'm like, there's no time. There's no time ever. It's like, you guys have these month-long campaigns, but when you're like scheduling and booking shit, you're like, I'm doing this week, this week, this next week, and then boom, it's over.
It's a lot. And I think that's one thing that we both learned this time around is really just plan ahead, schedule everything out. And the more you do that, the smoother it goes.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys came on here to talk about it, and I'm stoked to talk about it more as the night goes on. But Matt and Matt, the Matt and Matt show, Matt squared, Matt 2, Matt times 2. I don't know.
We're called
whatever
the
we want to call
Mattses
it.
now.
The Mattses?
One of our fans. We have fans now. One of our fans dubbed us the Mattses.
I like that. I like the Mattses. Yeah. That's good. You should stick with that. You should think about the Mattses and future Kickstarter rewards, like bookmarks, T-shirts, something, coins. We all need those. We all need fucking Kickstarter coins. I got like 10 of them. They're in a bag. I don't know what the fuck to do with them, but I sure keep one. I'm like, oh man, is that a coin? You got a coin and a metal bookmark and a metal playing card? Fuck you, take my money, baby. I don't know, but yeah, anyway. So, but yeah, happy to have you both on. I'm excited for this Kickstarter project, and I'm excited for to hopefully get some eyes on that. Get you some backers. We talked about this in the green room. Hopefully, nobody loses money during the show. If you do, I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Real sorry. I tried to hype as best as I could. And all right, next up, another repeat client on the show. Fucking nuts, you guys keep coming back on here. Not gonna lie. Don Nguyen is here. Who's one of the coolest, chillest, most awesomest artists in the indie game right now. He's working on everything. He's a hard working man. He's doing cons. He's doing signings. He's doing sketches. He's doing Kickstarters. He's doing variant covers. He's like, I don't even know how you're awake right now. It was funny, guys. The last time he was on was for the Cthulhu. Cthulhu Goes to Wonderland,
Cthulhu Goes Wonderland. Yeah,
and he was fucking drawing in the green room, like we're waiting for like everybody to show up, and he's like working while he's waiting for this podcast to start. I was like, dude, you're fucking hardcore. Anyways, Don, how you doing tonight, bud?
Doing good, man. I just got back, got stuck an extra day in Charlotte, North Carolina for Heroes Con, and found myself at a Waffle House for the first time, which I really loved. And it was kind of wild being there late at night.
Separates the men from the boys.
It's a weird journey. It's a weird late night journey.
I appreciate it, man. That waffle's delicious.
They have solid food. It's just like some Waffle Houses are different. I remember the first time my dad took me to a Waffle House, and he was like, my dad. I was a kid, and he's like, yeah, we used to call this the awful waffle. And there's like stamped out cigarette butts on the floor, and like it's like a different time of American diners, right? And I was like, what the fuck is this place? But I got the chocolate milk was good. The waffles were good. The eggs weren't overcooked. So they make good food, but yeah, it's always a weird experience, and you always come across an interesting person, and I feel like they just get more interesting as the later the night gets, right?
My server was wild. She was trying to kick out a junkie who was trying to go in and try to work for some money. Then he started going around the back door, so she had to go back door. I don't know if she fought him. There's a lot of yelling involved.
You got the real experience.
Can
Yeah,
we,
you
can
kinda
we
got the
actually
whole
have
deal,
a
right?
segment later when we all just talk about Waffle House? Because there's a lot to
There's a
unfurl
lot
here.
to unpack.
Okay.
I think we need to do a live version at a Waffle House.
Sure.
I'm in Canada,
Oh my
so I've never
God.
been.
I'd be
We
down,
all
yeah.
go to we all. I'm sure every Waffle House has the best Wi-Fi too for streaming.
I have real
But
bad
the rules
Waffle House
obviously
stories.
all have to be we have to go at least at midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
midnight
Yeah.
or later. Preferably not sober, unless you're just one of those sober people. I'll respect to those. If you're, you know,
Sure.
like you can drink water.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be hanging out with the junkie in the back alley, seeing what's going on there. I'm just kidding. Like I don't nothing with needles.
That was-
like, that's,
That was the most of those people's statement I've ever fucking heard.
So it really does get wild at the Waffle House, like after a certain time. Because a friend was telling me, like, if you're around at 1 a.m., expect to fight somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mainly the witching hour. Like once 3:33 pops off, it's over.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I worked at a bar for many years, and we stayed open until 3 a.m. And yeah, it's just like any place that's open past 1 a.m., like just weird shit happens.
Okay.
And if you add alcohol, like weirder shit happens. But that, you know, Waffle House is like IHOP, you know, like that's like one of those deals where it's like, oh, we can go from the bar to here and just like go
Yeah.
crazy on food and be belligerent assholes. And like, oh man, I've done that many times. But anyways, so we got sidetracked. That's what Blake's Buzz is about. But anyways, Don, I'm so happy to have you back on the show, and I'm
Thanks for having
excited.
me.
I'm excited to talk about who Retro is
All right.
and what Retro does and what he can or can't remember. And your awesome art, because your art's always fucking solid, bud. Like
I appreciate it.
you're just I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I appreciate you coming on the show. And I guess we gotta say hi. Oh man, we got comments going on here. We got fucking Joey's popping in saying hi. What's up,
Hello,
Joey? We got the promiscuous time traveler popping in. I have a fan, and this is one of them. I like thank you for tuning in every week. I appreciate you and your awesome handle. And then we got Ignacio, who's a wonderful artist who's popping up all over the indie scene as well. Like it's awesome. We got some people tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is exciting. All right, rolling. Next up, we've got the Pocus Hocus crew. Last but definitely not least, we've got Alan and Will, and you guys. They're co-writers for Pocus Hocus, and Will. This is I don't think I've ever talked to you before because you're not on social media. You best. Like I don't know how the fuck you managed to do that. Like good for you, man. How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing very well, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I was gonna say, you know, I came here tonight I come on the show tonight to talk about comics, and now it's Waffle House, and like I refuse to talk about anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're gonna throw out the addendum for tonight's show. I don't.
Yeah.
Anybody who watches my show knows that I have intense written plans for every episode.
Oh yeah.
That we follow, like as we follow closely, like the angel judging you at the gates of heaven. Like these are strict guidelines. No, I don't even know what that even means. But no,
the dress rehearsal was super slick, though. I mean, it went right on time.
Yeah, the Blake's Buzz rehearsal dinner that we do every week was
Absolutely.
great.
At Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House.
Right, yeah.
Those hash browns do not fuck around for sure.
Oh,
They
They don't. They
smothered,
don't.
covered, and chopped. That was
Well
delicious.
seasoned, wonderful potatoes. That's my
Indeed.
weakness.
Indeed.
That and redheads. I just can't get enough of them. Anyway, what? Sorry.
Blake's hitting on me in front of all of you.
That's what I do.
Happening
I
right now.
always gotta awkwardly flirt with one of the guests. I don't know how to
Yeah.
behave.
I am actually fuckable. That's true.
I ship this. Take him, Blake. Done.
So yeah, Will, thank you for coming on. I'm excited. I love your guys' comic, Alan. We'll follow up with you, but Pocus Hocus is great. And it's so fun, and it's so fun and funny, and oh god, your guys' artist is so fucking good. Oh my god. Anyways, we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But last but finally not least, Alan, How's it going? How you doing? Happy to have you on Blake's Buzz for a first time. I've watched you on some other shows. Travis's, I think you've popped in on Travis's Creator Corner a couple times, and
I have.
And I've heard you talk on there, and I was like, man, I could interview this guy better. And now we're gonna prove it. I'm just kidding.
That's how you said that, man. Wow. Off the throne.
Alan, how you doing tonight, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and thanks again for having us on too. Especially, I feel like such short notice with everything. So
no, that's part of what the name is. I like every week I'm like, 1 week I accidentally did it. I was really like, guys, I need guests, and I got so many I was like, who are these fucking people? Like these, like so many people were like, oh yeah, I'll come on. And I was like, okay, I need to never do that again. Because it's, like you gotta background check some people, and there's some sketch people out there, and my audience knows this, and I'll swear by it. The people I have on my show are creators I believe in, are projects I believe in, and that I will invest my own money to. And I don't, I would feel genuine like having people on the show and hyping up a book. Everybody says like I'm a good hype guy, but I'm a good hype guy when there's a good comic to be hyped, right? That helps. It's hard to get excited for trash.
Yeah,
I can.
You got us on here, right? Wow, then you sent him the payment, right?
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. This is important because it's great to know that I'm on this call with so many other writers. The art is trash in our book, but the writing is really top notch. The art, I want to be very clear, very disappointing. But man, the writing is impeccable.
The thing is, I drew it with my left foot while drinking the entire time. Like you were going on about that hanging scene. I didn't even look at the page for that.
Yep, didn't even look at it. I sent him references for every single thing, and he just drew Star Wars. I don't understand. It's it's an 18th century. I'm a historian. I'm a professional historian.
I think the ship has a name. I didn't know what it is.
If it was good enough for Daniel,
two of the most famous historic sites in the United States, and he was like, I think it's a stormtrooper.
Like that. In the issue 2, actually, the boats they rise out of the water, and
so this is actually a great example of
it's gonna be awesome.
A lack of understanding is, so he just said the boats, they're ships, Matt. They're ships.
We're gonna have the first like creative team fight on Blake's Buzz. I think.
No, that's not until I draw the main pirate in a Raptors jersey. Then we're gonna throw down.
Yeah. So we have a continuous bet that is only for contemporary books we work on, because Matt and I work on way too much stuff because I'm lazy and can't find other artists, but also because Matt's phenomenal to work with. Where we continuously have bets about the playoffs, where if I win, a Celtics jersey appears, and if Matt wins, a Raptors jersey appears. But we can't make that work in a pirate comic.
Yeah,
so it's gonna have to hold till our next book, which is a weird haunted house book.
You could maybe like do a pirate flag with a secret sports emblem on it. I'm thinking what the new HBO show with what was it called, the new pirate HBO show?
Our flag means death.
Yeah, like there's that one scene where there's like 8, they have like 8 flags because they couldn't all decide on one, and all the English dudes are like, what the fuck are these? And they keep pulling them out, and there's like all these different flags. So I mean, you could throw
that was already us trying to develop this book. I don't know how many sketches I drew with my feet and sent them off to him. Just, this guy, so hard to work for.
Yeah, it's terrible. We work together.
Yeah. Maybe stop whipping me for once, and I might feel that way.
I just wanted to make sure that the vibe was proper. We have a cultural moment that we want to capture in this book, and I want to make sure that the working conditions are consistent.
The vibe on Skull and Crossbones. Yeah,
sure.
All right.
Yeah, and honestly, and I actually want to give a legitimate compliment here. So Matt and I went back and forth on the flag. because I have a very clear vision on what the flag for the Freehand, which is the ship in the comic, should be, and I could not articulate it well enough, and I didn't draw it because I'm an idiot. And then Matt drew essentially a skull with fingers coming out of it, and it looks fantastic. He did a great job, and a number of people who I do not know have contacted me and been like, love the flag. So he did.
That's cool to hear. I haven't heard anyone compliment the flag.
Yeah, it's because we only
awesome.
talk more on Blake's Buzz.
That's true. Blake, you're saying something about being genuine on here, right?
Yeah.
It's not our. That's not our dig.
I didn't say a goddamn thing.
To be clear, for those who are just tuning in, Matt Rowe and I are friends and work together really well, and I have plenty of very positive things to say about him.
Just not right now. We're not here for that shit.
I mean, friends is loose. I mean, he's Canadian.
It's a loose term.
Play it loosey goosey.
Yeah.
You know.
I kid though. Honestly,
chill.
Wilding's been instrumental in both of our success. The story is phenomenal. The characters are even more exciting. If you've not checked out Nightmare Man, give that a go because that one's just phenomenal, honestly. And our new thing, Freehands, it's gonna be awesome. It is awesome. So
it is awesome. I got to read it. I asked Matt to send me a copy after he already sent me a copy. It was awesome. I felt like a huge idiot. I was like, hey Matt, can I get something to read? He was like, yeah, here it is again. If you scroll up though, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I got it together. We're good.
You're doing great.
I read it though. I got there eventually.
Well, hey, I don't want to, and I want to be completely sincere here because there's a bunch of creators on this call who have a ton of work that I deeply respect, and I want to shout out specifically to Don because I see in the background he did some work on Stake, which is a great book. So I don't want to monopolize all the time. So I will dig in 100% on Freehands. But I also just want to just point to everybody, man, these folks are doing cool stuff too.
I like to think that I have a good eye for talent. Like I like to think that I have people on the
talent,
show
bribes.
Yeah, like you know.
It's okay. It's just a variant cover. So yeah, you guys just keep going.
It's a good variant though.
It was a good variant
for a hot comic.
Variant.
You got it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that support.
Yeah, I love that book. It's a great book. So
yeah,
coming
it's
together, baby. I love this.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Next, well, as spoiler alert, Blake's Buzz turns the official podcast of Blake's Buzz turns 1 year old on the 7th, and I'm dropping my Hedrick interview, and she Francesca joined in a couple times and was awesome. And all I did the whole time, I was like, okay, Jonathan, like you're awesome and I love your books, but like seriously, Francesca Stake, what the fuck, you're insane. Like I just kept going back, and they were a blast to talk to, and I it's cool, like they're like comic book love story is so neat and awesome. And anyway, so like you fans are gonna get that on the 7th. I think I'm gonna drop that spoiler. So anyways, you got that to look forward to. We love Steak here.
David Byrne.
Yeah, and David's about to come back on in a couple weeks too. Like I made it in. I made it in with the right people. Like you guys, some of these guys think that I'm like fun to talk to and cool. Like so, like I don't know how the fuck I did that, but hey baby, like come on, Blake's Buzz, we'll make you famous, right? But yes, so Matt, we are. I said we would talk about this first, and we're going to talk about Freehands. Number one, I'm going to pull up the little screen guy here. The power of technology. This is the Kickstarter page. I love this opening image right here. By the way, I love every panel. I love every panel of this comic book. I love your like hatch heavy art. That's probably a really shitty way to talk about art, but I'm bad at talking about art. But you have like,
I get you.
You have like a lot of like hatch, like heavy inks and like really deliberate, harsh lines that I think, especially in this, really portray the violence well and the monstrosity of some of these I love that we are calling out some of these fucking Christian weirdos, right, for just being evil little motherfuckers, and like, oh wow, that's happening in today's world right now too. I love the
That's the
parallels.
vibe of the entire book. It's very
Yes.
relatable
Yeah.
for today.
It's really intense how these guys like it's the pirate life, right? Like people turn their noses up to it, but it's these fucking hoity-toity Christian motherfuckers in power that are the real evil ones, right? And like,
Yeah, I'm not super happy about how relevant this book ended up.
oh,
Because I wrote
I'm not either. Like but it is coming. I mean, like, yeah, society sucks right now, but I mean, it's coming out at a really good time.
Yeah.
This
So
is
yeah,
a point where I like to remind people that, like, politics and comics just don't. No, fuck those people.
yeah, no politics in comics for sure. It's not a
No,
medium.
here it is.
Oh,
Here it
there
is.
it is.
Here's,
Whoa.
like, look at those motion lines, the
So
tearing of the skin, the blood-soaked clothes. Like, I fucking love that, dude. Like, that's
Thanks,
so
man.
good. It's so good. Like, that shit pops. Pops like the bones and the vertebrae that are just tearing from that hangman's noose right there. Like, that's the shit you get when you get a Matt and Matt comic. You get some bloody, weird, intense, like, make you feel uncomfortable, but also like you can't stop turning those pages. You can't.
Well,
stop.
respect to Matt Rowe on this too, because Matt and I did the first 6 pages of this book for a pitch a while ago, and he decided to redraw them entirely because he felt like he didn't produce at a level that he had hit. He felt like after he did, and I'm speaking for him, he's right here, but he can tell you about it. But after Dieback, he felt like he made a jump, and so he literally redrew the first 6 pages of this book.
Oh wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Wilding said, I put together the first 6 pages. I think even particularly the big change was that hanging. I think the script, or maybe we spoke for something not too gruesome. And that's what I did the first go, and I just really wasn't satisfied with it. So after speaking with Wilding again, he just reiterated for me, which, I get mixed up in my own. I get too involved with myself and the work, and put my own blocks up, put my own walls up, and he just reiterated for me that just go loose, like, take it away. If you think you can make it better, and that was a really collaborative moment for me. And if you like anything that you're seeing in issue 1, genuinely just wait till you see issue 2. I'm very excited about that one.
I'm so tired of you guys doing that shit on my show. Like, you guys get me all fucking amped for this comic book that's not even out on Kickstarter yet, so I gotta wait for it. And then you're like, oh, you think this one's good that you get in a couple months? Wait till you get issue 2 months and months and months from now. And I'm like, give me a break, damn it.
No, you're that's a fair concern, but let me just assuage your concerns here. So issue 1 of Free Hands is the setup for a 6-issue run.
Okay.
And the first issue is the beginning of a confession associated with the trial of the last surviving pirate of the pirate ship Free Hand. And Blake, as you've seen, because you read the first issue, this pirate crew is they believe something that is really easy to identify with in the modern world. Essentially, they're a bunch of people who don't want to work for people anymore, and the lengths they go through to get away from the requirements of the system that they're employed by is pretty brutal and pretty violent. And we just continue to heighten that on that in issue 2 through issue 6. This is all based on actual historic documented incidences from 18th century piracy. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I work in history. I work for historical sites. I'm a director at the Old South Meeting House and the Old State House in Boston, and I deal with 18th century history a lot. And one of the things that's always been really compelling to me is how people who do not have power in the 18th century try to figure out how to just take power in places where they don't have it. And in Piracy, you see this really democratic and kind of proto-socialist movement where working people, people who are not white, and also women, really force themselves into a position of power that's very brief, and it prompts this slogan that's used in the period of the golden age of piracy: a short life but a happy one, where they're just willing to die relatively quickly to be able to have a little bit of fun and a little bit of freedom. And this book is literally drawing on 18th century accounts of those people doing those things, and kind of condensing them in a way that's consumable to a general audience.
Man, if only pirates had cocaine. Can you imagine like the crazy voyages on the sea?
And honestly, that's what issue 2 gets into. And Wilding put that so beautifully. But you can see from an artist standpoint why the topic of freedom was such a hook for me personally. And then additionally, I just want to say it is all about that. And then it's also just about this group of some kick-ass pirates, kicking ass, taking names, and getting their freedom and riches. So it's a really exciting adventure to be a part of.
Yeah,
and also, this mouth is terrifying. I just want to. I've left this on the screen. I've waited for you guys for a lull just to talk about how terrifying this mouth right here is. Like some of Matt's art like is just so like fucking raw and visceral, right? And it like I mentioned those like harsh lines that he uses that like almost cut through the panel. But they like that. Not only do they cut through the panel, they like cut into your like ocular experience, and it like hurts to blink, right? Your eyes are raw, like after in a good way. And I love his art for that. And I loved it in Nightmare Man. And I'm excited to see more. You keep like you mentioned, redrawing these opening 6 pages. Like I'm watching your art. Your style is still the same, but it's still evolving a little bit, right? So it's like still changes as you get a little more comfortable in experimentation and stuff. And it's just exciting to see what you do panel to panel, page by page, because I don't ever know what to fucking expect from you, man. Like it's very cool.
That. We got to get that ocular cutting of lines as a pull quote right on the cover. That's fucking beautiful.
Hey, everybody who's anybody's got a Blake's Buzz pull quote on. I mean, it keeps happening. People keep putting my name on their back cover. Like, hey, I'm down.
But honestly, yeah, I'm still a pretty young guy. I haven't even hit 1,000 pages yet in comics, so still doing a lot of developing. I was wondering where
you were going to go with that number. Because like, I'm still a pretty young guy. I haven't hit 1,000. Like, you're a fucking vampire. Like, where are we going with this right now?
He is a vampire. He's only in his 20s, but he was bit early.
I sailed those seas. I was part of it. No. Yeah. Hey man, to be like at the start and where you're popping off and more people are noticing your stuff. Like I said, your style is easy to pick out in a crowd. And so you got that going for you. And just like I said, every page I see from you is like more impressive than the next, and it's just exciting, and I like that you're not scared to get dirty, basically, in your panels, right? Like you're like I'm gonna throw it down, I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely. And that was something that I had to bring in and be a little more mindful about with this secondary time drawing the first 6 pages, and then the rest of the book I decided to draw it digitally. So any artist in here will know or watching that when you're drawing digitally, the work ends up becoming more clean, just cleaner look to it.
Even when you draw with your feet, or does it get cleaner when you draw with your feet?
It depends on my level of sobriety, honestly. But this one, I was really conscious of me. We have a meeting next week. This issue, I was really conscious.
I just found out Matt's last name because it was anonymous previously.
Let me get through this. This issue, I was really conscious of making sure I could dirty up the work even digitally, because that's just what the pirate world's about. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's brutal. And as amazing as my art is, I will be writing Wilding's stories all the way to the top.
And I wanna passively compliment Matt while I praise myself for a second here on that. So I give Matt. So Matt and I worked on horror stories initially, and this is not a horror story. This is a historical pirate noir story, but there's still a lot of kind of scary moments in it. But this was true in Little Things. It was true in Nightmare Man. It was true in the sci-fi story we did in Small Bites, and it remains true in Free Hands. I don't actually give Matt a lot of big moments to blow out. I do a lot of small, slow burn writing, and because I want the big moments to be big. And one of the things that Matt has consistently done has been identifying the big moment and making it as horrifying as possible, because the horrifying moments are actually the reason I'm writing the story. Is I'm trying to sneak you into these horrifying moments, because I'm a believer as a writer that we don't need to slam people over the head over and over again with scary sections. We need to build up to these very small, very terrifying moments. So when we did Little Things is an 8-page story. It's in a backup on Nightmare Man. That is 8 pages, and 7 pages or 6.5 pages is a build about a bunch of shitty teenagers picking on a homeless man. And then the last page and a half is a very, very scary, and I hope, reveal about why that mentally ill person is mentally ill. Likewise, Nightmare Man is literally, it's a 24 page comic, I think, and I think about 19 pages are sitting in a cafe. But the reveals at the end give you the payoff. With Free Hands, there are, I think, 2 or 3 real moments in the book. But the last one, which actually sets up the rest of the series, the 6-issue arc, it's a little horror. It's just a tiny little horror, and Matt makes it this grotesque moment.
It's uncomfortable.
That I saw when I wrote it. Like, I really wanted it to be a little horror that was terrible, because, like, if you, as a normal human being, deal with if you saw someone be shot in the face, just like as an example, that'd be scary. In a movie, that's not a big moment. That's a lot of things. Like, that happens a lot of times in a lot of movies, right? But in your actual life, seeing somebody get killed is scary, and I wanted to bring that really personal moment of fear to a kind of casual horror into the story. And then Matt identified it very clearly and illustrated it in a way that made it powerful. And then Matt hyped issue 2. The first 2.5 pages of issue 2 heighten on that horror at the end of issue 1 in a very specific way that makes everything about the rest of the story make a lot of sense. Because this is about taking freedom at the expense of other people's freedom, and that involves violence.
Yeah, we all know about that lately.
Right,
losing and gaining and taking freedoms for. Well, I'm of the mind now. There's too many good comics and there's too many good shows out right now. And I feel like we're all swept up in this great media right now, right? And it's like, oh, I finished Stranger Things, and oh, Roe versus Wade got overturned. Like, it's like there's so many wonderful things to distract us, and simultaneously, like, I'm glad that's the case because we need distractions, right? But now it's like, I don't know, man, I'm getting worried. Like, I feel like that this you guys need to not tell as good of stories, or as you guys are doing with this right now, like, remind us of, like, the religious right and all the dangers it presents, whether you're on a ship a couple hundred years ago or or 100 and so, I don't know, I'm not a fucking historian, however long ago it was when there were ships and waters and life was fun and cocaine wasn't real yet, right? That time.
I promise you, life wasn't fun. And if there's one thing,
Yeah.
if there's one thing I wanna get across in Freehands is it's that life was not fun. Life is really bad. It's a really tough time. The 18th century in the colonies and in the Caribbean, and we'll get to the Caribbean as well in the story, are pretty bad, and they're pretty bad for everybody. They're bad for colonists, they're bad for indigenous people, they're bad for imported and kidnapped Africans. They're bad for everybody. Except for incredibly rich people and people in power. But the struggle between the people broadly and the people in power is a really interesting story that resonates with how we live right now. I want to give a really specific shout out to a historian who influenced this story a lot, Marcus Redeker, who I believe teaches at University of Pittsburgh. He wrote a book called Villains of All Nations, which was an expansion of a chapter in a book he wrote called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. He essentially illustrated that all pirates are connected by a network, and they essentially established a proto-socialist system in the maritime world. And that proto-socialist system is derived specifically from things like impressment, which is forced labor of maritime workers, and slavery. And so enslaved people in the 18th century world and workers who are oppressed in the 18th century world, they can see the same way out through piracy. And that piracy will be short. I think it was Black Bart Roberts who said a short life but a happy one. It won't go for long, but these people will get to be free for a minute, and a fleeting moment of freedom to these specific people, that is more valuable than a life of enslavement or a life of oppression or a life of impressment. And ultimately, in a way, I think that most of us who work for wages, we can identify with the idea, if not necessarily the practice, that man, I'd like to just not do this anymore, and I would give it up and die pretty quickly to just have a moment of freedom. And that's really what this story is about.
And you can see that this is where Wilding really shines. He's going to spend almost the entire story holding me back in the best way so that I can splash in the most impactful ways. And where he shines is he's going to make you fall in love with these characters, not just these kids, the unlikely of characters, whether it's Lurch in Little Things or Alex in Nightmare Man or Gregor in Freehands, all just phenomenally unlikely characters that you fall in love with. And then he spends the rest of the issue just doing some really surprising, horrible things to them. And you hurt for them, honestly. It's really it absorbs you in.
I'm really into this idea that it's not the size of the life, it's the motion of the ocean. Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry. I don't want to make light of all the smart shit you just said, but I have to make a dick joke sometimes, guys. I can't help it.
I don't know if that pull quote's getting posted on the cover.
That was probably not.
That's cover. That's going right on the cover.
That's going right on the cover.
But no, I love the history and the culture that's present. And I remember, Steph Phillips did a man among ye, and she talked about doing research and stuff for female pirates and how there's so much rumor, right? And it's and the documentation of those times is so weird, and it's really intriguing to see you guys manipulate that history and tell your own story while replicating a story that's already in existence, right? I dig that, and I love it, and I think you guys are on to something, and I'm fucking stoked for 5 more issues, and I might even double dip for a trade if you guys come back for that 6th Kickstarter for the
that's the goal,
or that's. I like when Kickstarters do that. I like when you do like the few issues and then you drop the trade, and it's cool with me because a lot of times I got it back digitally because I'm poor, and so
Right.
like I'm like, ooh, like I got the 4 or 5 issues digitally. I'll pay the 40 for the trade after shipping. Like, let's do it. Let's party. So
Maybe
anyways,
with the
like
trade, we can come back with a coin.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and two things there. Like, one, I'll just send you whatever comics you want. That's fine. But also two, more significantly, like hopefully the plan here is that, much like with Nightmare Man, you know, Freehands will end up with a publisher, and you won't have to back a Kickstarter. You can just pick up the book in a shop, because you know I think I believe in this specific story pretty strongly. I think Matt does as well.
Yep.
And to just extrapolate a little bit on women in piracy. Ultimately, you don't see a lot of that in issue 1, but it's a major factor in issue 2 and actually the rest of the series. There's some great stories about struggle just in general, and we talk about them in the book mostly through the lens of enslavement and in the oppression of women in the 18th century, but they're identifiable to pretty much anyone who has struggled. But specifically when it comes to women, the role of women in piracy is super well documented, if only in a few instances, but it's really well documented. And we're going to show you how powerful the role of women in the maritime world is, in a way that is not pandering at all. It's in the data. You know, there's such solid documentation on women in piracy, and I cannot wait to see how Matt plays it out, because obviously we need to cover it, we need to hide it, because they hid it in the 18th century when women wanted to do things that were not within their quote unquote station. They did them in hiding.
Yeah.
And so we will hide it in the book, but it will show up, and it shows up really, really dramatically in second issue in Port Royal, in the Caribbean, and it will continue to show up going forward.
That's one of the things that I'm most excited about in this book. See, I know I've read the scripts. I know where the book is going, the series is going. So I've been able to hide a few things here and there, already in issue 1, and I can't wait for those things to pay out down the road.
Very cool. Well, guys, I'm excited for it, and I think everybody should go back it. Freehands #1 live on Kickstarter. We got what do we say? We got a week left, right? It's 6 days. Not even a week. Got 6 days left, you guys. So you can either like fuck up your whole life, or you can go to Kickstarter right now, back this comic. Easy choice, in my opinion. You know, but what do I know?
Thanks,
I'm not
Blake.
a doctor. I'm just a podcast host, right? But yeah, so super excited about that. Moving on, and no real clean way to transition this, just to move into another comic by another awesome creator. We got Retro #1, and Don is the doodler, the massively talented doodler, just cranking out the awesome fight scenes and the great action, and this really intriguing. I love narratives that play with like linear narratives can kiss my asshole. Like, like I appreciate it, but like I love, people that are like, don't use flashbacks, like go fuck off, like interrupt your scenes, right? Like throw us around, jostle us a little bit, like keep us on our toes, get us excited to get to that end, right? Like, make us work for it. And it seems like this retro narrative, Don, like you guys are going to be kind of doing that, right? You're going to be playing with aspects of storytelling. We're not going from point A to point B. We're going from like A to F maybe, and then hop back to C, and then tell us what B was, and then keep going. Like you're not writing it, but you're drawing it. Is that difficult? Like when you get like complicated storylines like that, or like how do you like orient yourself when you're drawing? Like, or does it get tricky, or are you just like I just make the magic happen? Like, I don't know, I don't care. I just blink and it shows up.
Yeah, Matt knows. He's using his left foot up there. we're the magicians here, man. We're not just the people behind the curtains. No, you know what? The toughest thing in this book, actually, I feel like in comics, we don't have linear storytelling all the time. We tell stories from different perspectives. We jump in and out of scenes and situations all the time. It's very akin to just like a quick jump cut in editing, and it just so happens to be that Aaron Lindenthaler, the writer that I'm working with, is an actual television editor. He's worked on things like Project Runway. I think he did The Bachelor.
He's got like a nice resume of being an editor and being in some Hollywood shit.
Yeah, and he's done just a lot on his own, but his mind works that way, and it was a good jump for him to switch from working screenwriting into doing comics. And I feel like he picked up the language pretty quickly. But no, the toughest thing in this was how to represent time travel. So I've been describing the book as Jason Bourne meets Looper, or also Taken meets Memento with time traveling. And I feel like in comics, maybe because I haven't read that many time travel comics, but it's always been a lot of backwards motion lines and people walking backwards, like the one classic like old Superman scene. I think the Flash may have done it too, where you just like walk the character, just draw him walking backwards. So the challenge was how do I visually represent time travel, and I think we've done some interesting things. I feel at least I've made some interesting choices with this book. And I really do hope people enjoy that aspect of it. But yeah, when it comes down to it, Retro is just about a guy who wakes up and has these fragmented, he just has these fragments of his memory, and he doesn't really know what it is, but they all seem to point to a horrific crime. And he's trying to piece his life together, figure out what side of the crime he falls on. So is he the hero or the villain? And the only other thing he knows is he has this device embedded into his arm that allows him to time travel back in short increments, which he uses to his advantage in terms of trying to piece his life back together. And that's kind of where we're at. And we started this off as storyboards. My buddy, like I said, he wrote this as a screenplay originally, and he was like, "Hey, Don, I love your artwork. Can you do this as storyboards?" And I did the storyboards, and then he had a weird request, which was to give him final storyboards, which most of you guys, if you guys seen storyboards, usually fine pencils is like the most complete you'll see them. And he actually had me ink and color them, and then he took it, animated it into a short film motion comic, got it into one of the longest running film festivals left in Los Angeles called Dances with Films. And we showed that in 2019. His buddy Reno Wilson, who's been on Mike and Molly and Good Girls, loved it and wanted to make a live action feature. So they decided to do a short film. So if you back this project at some of the tiers, you'll have the opportunity not only to see the original animated short, but also the live action short, and check out our comic, which is, I believe it's 27 pages of story. And then we'll have some fantastic pinups by my friend Don Walker, Marcus Newsom. And there's other goodies as well in the reward tiers. So I hope people come and check it out at whoisretro.com.
That's fucking sick. Time out just to shout out everybody in the. We got You Promised Me Comics showed up tonight. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah,
and we got the comic one of the three comic burrito guys in the house. Always has to ask a weird burrito question. I love burritos and I want them to be in more places, but I don't think we had a lot of burritos on any pirate ships. I'm sure.
I can talk about burritos in detail that are not pirate related. I'm really pro burrito.
Yes.
I live in Boston, which is not known for its burritos, and I can tell you literally all 6 places you can get good burritos in the city. So, dude, Cole, whoever was it, Cole? Cole, man, if you want to hit me up at Matthew Wilding on Twitter, I'm happy to talk burritos hard. I will go really, really strong in it.
They do a really fun live stream too with Kickstarter people and indie folks. So yeah, I mean like they're a great show to be on, and they always give me shit when I eat like Mexican food or we make it here, and I like take a picture of it. Like Cole always will like find a picture I post of a burrito, and he'll be like, "Really? You didn't tag me?" And like the guilt is so real. Like it's like painstakingly like cold dagger in my warm chest, just like, I'm sorry. I've never felt the guilt than like a Cole Instagram message of, why didn't you tag me in this burrito picture?
Now the question is, do you grill your burrito to get it crisp on that tortilla?
I usually do, unless I'm lazy.
What?
You don't grill that, baby? You don't get the little crispies on it?
Yeah, you gotta get a little crispy on it.
I like to do it on each side and get it to be like a square rectangle of like crunchy, gooey.
What is wrong with you?
Ask me what's wrong with me. There's so many things. We're gonna be here another hour.
Okay, so I'm sorry to derail this show, but this is offensive. Okay, if you want a crispy burrito, get a fucking chimichanga like a reasonable person.
I thought you were gonna say get a fucking taco.
Chimichanga is different, man. Trust me. Once you grill your burrito, you might not.
No, I've had a grilled burrito. It's fine. This is not a burritos have steamed tortillas. That's the whole fucking point of a burrito.
No, I love a good chimichanga, but
what are you doing?
You gotta heat the oil and roll the chonga in the oil.
Will, you're muted. I assume because you're disgusted. What is your position on this?
I'm not quite as outraged as you are.
This is my default setting. I get upset about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm in Los Angeles, so technically we're the burrito capital here.
I'm okay.
All styles of burrito.
I'm okay with a slightly crispy burrito. That's okay with me.
Motherfucking god.
Not very offensive.
This is how Blake gets canceled.
Look,
crunchy burritos.
Guys, I respect your work as creatives, but this is disgusting. My God, Matt Rowe, where are you on this?
I'm really silent, so I've never had a burrito. I'm a quesadilla guy.
What?
Canada.
What?
Who the fuck has never had a burrito? Where?
Wow.
Canadian.
I mean, he's in Canada. It's kind of understandable.
Holy
he's
shit!
Like 20, he's like 16 years old, guys. You need to understand. He just hasn't seen a lot of stuff.
Alan, what about you, man? What are your burrito thoughts?
You're muted.
Oh, he's muted. I was like, man, he's really thinking about this.
Yeah, no, I was really thinking. No, burritos are absolutely delicious. If anyone says otherwise, they're no friend of mine, unfortunately.
Would you if you make a burrito, do you want the soft steamed tortilla texture, or have you ever like tossed it around in a skillet and get some brownage on there and like what about like a crunch wrap, man? Like that's a crunch wrap is just like
I don't understand why we're fighting about this. Like it's delicious either way.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Pineapple on pizza, delicious. Pineapple
on
pizza, also delicious.
Oh no!
What is wrong with you?
The show is burst into flames.
So if you worked with me, which thank God you don't, because I'm awful, you would know that the glasses take off and the head point means that things have deteriorated in this movie.
I've had this one.
My God,
scariest moment of my life.
So cool. What is wrong with you?
Now, have you had a wet burrito, a burrito mojado, which is where you put the sauce on the burrito, right? You get the ranchero sauce.
Yeah,
and then you can do that
great.
to a chimichanga, which is even better because it's crispy and it's got that like juicy, wet, wonderful quality to it.
Right.
That's some wet.
What?
Don, me and you.
That's some wet ass burrito, baby.
I'll be in LA in September. Me and you, we have a burrito day. You take me on a burrito tour. We go wild. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I want to go on the burrito tour. I'm not gonna lie. I want to do this.
I'm still looking at Waffle House.
I don't care if dude. It can be crunchy. It can be soggy. If there's just some fucking gooey, cheesy, steamy, meaty, ricey, whatever, wrapped up in some kind of tortilla, man, I'm gonna put too much of it in my mouth and take a big old bite and be a happy boy.
So
right?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll eat any burrito. Like there's a
unless
taco...
it's crunchy. If it's a crunchy burrito, fuck your mother.
There's a Taco Bell product that just was announced that has Cheez-Its in it. I'm gonna eat that. but we're talking about platonic ideals here.
I love this. God. This is why I do this show, so we get weird. I love getting weird.
Nice. Wow. Wet ass burrito.
Wet ass burrito. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna quit my job tomorrow. I'm gonna buy a food truck. And it's gonna be the wet ass burrito truck. I'm gonna live that fucking food truck life, baby. Everybody always
you
says
live in
that
Missouri, so I imagine that'd be fine.
I don't think anybody would care. Like, as long as you know we all like say hi to Jesus and don't get abortions, and we'll be fine. No abortions on this food truck, ladies and gentlemen. Only burritos.
Behind the food truck is the
you go behind the food truck in the back alley. We'll get you taken care of, right? Like we'll smuggle you into a legal state, get you taken care of. I'll fight the government for you because fuck all this shit.
I want to dive into this so hard, but it's this is a comics podcast.
I know.
But we're pirates, man.
We're
right.
We're pirates. We're pirates that like burritos and think that people should have control over their own bodies. Is that so hard? Is that so hard to live in a world where we all get to eat burritos and have control over our own bodies and just fucking exist like people? Is that so hard? Why can't we do this?
Hear me out, because you're drilling down hard. So, and let me finish this whole sentence, because you're going to be horrified by the first half. So hear me out.
We have a Kickstarter, man. You're going real controversial.
Will and Alan also need to talk about their book.
I think they're going to be on board. It's not that Thomas and Scalia's opinion was wrong. It's that the Constitution is bad. That's the whole sentence.
It's a work in progress. It's always meant to be.
We're still babies, like in the whole wide world, right? Like, you know, we're at what, like just over 260 years old now, or whatever, 270 years old. Yeah, we're fucking baby, ignorant, just learning how not to shit our pants country. You know, that's what people don't realize. They're like, oh, America, like we're babiys. Like, we haven't had shit going on compared to the rest of the world. You know, that's why we're behind in a lot of areas.
Joey Galvez says, mute this guy. I want to hear about comics. And my understanding is, well, whatever. If you don't want to hear about how American society is bad, I don't know what to tell you. The system is bad.
Well, I mean, you got to hear. Yeah, there's no other way. Like you wake up and hear about it. It's
Joey. I'm sure you're a lovely human being, but there are
you, Joey. We got the mic. We're gonna talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, we're fucking we are encumbered by your restrictions. But I do just want to say, because I know this to be true, that Will and Alan have a dope fucking book to talk about.
Man, that's kind of
love
controversial.
You too, Joey.
No, I want to keep talking about the fall of Western society.
I mean, I was
that's what everyone tuned into.
It feels like a different show, you know.
No, I think some things need to be talked about. So if anybody, I mean, unless you're like a fucking bigot asshole, like, don't voice your opinion on my show. But I mean, if you're part of the crew and we want to talk about how to make life better, regardless of what kind of burritos you eat, you know, like, I'm cool with that. Like, everybody, you know, love more, hate less, read comics. That's my slogan, right? You know, love more, hate less, read, you know, eat burritos. Love more, hate less, eat crunchy burritos. Eat whatever kind of burrito you want, man. Like, it's cool. We love you.
I'm pro a lot of things, guys. I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-burrito. I'm pro overthrow of the government. I'm pro a lot of things. But I'm also pro Will and Alan's comic.
Yeah, guys, let's hear about it. Jump in.
So It's Pocus Hocus. Blake, you've read all 3 issues, I think.
No, yeah, I did. I finished. I was like, wait, what? I was like, woo! Like,
Yeah,
wait, is
I've heard of that book.
went right over my fucking head, baby.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Yeah, I read the 3 issues. I finished the 3 issues today for lunch. I read the first one previously, and it was humorous, and I love the twist on the sell your soul narrative. It's a little bit different. I love the fucking ridiculous like impress your father narrative, and when your father's like an asshole dark magician, like like I love. There's so much shit talking in your comic, and it makes me laugh. Like there's just like shit talking out the ass, and so okay, so here's the point. You know why I like your guys' comic? When I was a fucking little kid weirdo, I was in the Society of Young Magicians. All right.
Okay. Awesome.
Wow.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Why am I not surprised?
You pay money for it. We used to go to a weekly meeting at this guy Bob Clam's house in Independence, Missouri. His name was Bob Clam, right? It's like, and he was fucking blind. He was this blind magician that would like teach us stuff, and it was like, every week, like everybody came, and some parents came and some didn't. Some dropped us off, and then like every year we would do like a big magic show at the Independence Center, like on stage and shit. So like I've been on stage and like levitated a dude over spikes, over like 9-inch railroad spikes. Like I did that in grade school.
I just want to get this right, Blake. You used to get dropped off with a bunch of other kids, unsupervised, to a blind magician's house?
At an old blind magician's house, yeah. And he had a magic shop in his basement.
Okay, I can see how we got from there to here now.
Legit.
Don is horrified. Don wants nothing to do with
Don's like, I'm out. Fuck this story time.
Well, I officially have an announcement to make. Our comic book, Alan, is no longer called Pocus Hocus. It's called Bob Clam.
Okay, perfect.
I need a Bob Clam variant.
They're really, or some kind of Bob Clam story. I feel like that deserves to be told.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Folks,
I used to be like into magic in 4th and 5th grade, and
now you're into gathering. See what happened?
Yeah. Well, no, now I'm into fucking comic books. All my life I've been like, what can I get into that just you can't get laid? Like, what is the shit that I can get into that's like, man, when I was in fucking high school, I fucking started doing cocaine because I went to private school and everybody had money, right? And like these fucking rich kids' parents would be like, oh, here's $100, go have fun at the mall with your friends. And everybody would call their fucking drug dealers. And I was like, what is this shit? Like my parents would be like, here's $10. I'd be like, what do I do with $10 fucking dollars? Anyway, but even when I dabbled in blow, like I didn't even like, I started doing it because I was like, oh, girls, like I got that. There was that rumor that like, oh, if you had cocaine, like you get laid, like girls loved you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, man, I was a fucking dude doing like cocaine and ecstasy with a whole bunch of dudes in a room by ourselves. Like I was like, how the fuck did I get here? I can't even do this right. So I went from magic to drugs with dudes, and now I talk about comics. Like what did I do in my? I don't, and I like crunchy burritos.
I don't want to be presumptuous here. So just bear with me. It's weird to me that like you are talking about having done cocaine in the past tense, because you seem like a coke guy.
I'm too poor. No, not when I was a bouncer several years ago.
You also seem like a bouncer. That's actually.
I was.
I don't know about Don, but that's where all the comic money goes.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I had to make a choice. I've actually told this story. I was being really stupid when in the bar days. I fucked up grad school. I dropped out of grad school. I didn't finish my MFA because I was fucking partying and chasing waitresses and bar hopping and I had a blast, and I still I miss it sometimes. I really do. especially now with like the office life, and I feel so boring, while simultaneously like I love being boring because but things happen, and I had to remind myself, like when I got back into comics, it was like, okay, I could blow my paycheck this weekend, and yeah, I'll make cash money the following week at the bar because that the bar's cash money. But like I had to remind myself, like, hey, if you want to, if you want to have a fucking hobby, if you want to do things right, you can't just drink it all and snort it all and do whatever. You gotta start being smarter. And then yeah, I started getting back into comics and blowing my money in healthier ways, and now here we are. Blake's
Love
Buzz.
to hear it. Love to hear it. I just want to chime in real quick. Joey, man, you're good. Don't worry about it. We're just having fun tonight, right?
Yeah, we think you're great. I'm just a terrible person and a bad guest. What is your MFA incompleted in?
Creative writing. I started on the poetry side. I did the MFA in poetry, and then I switched to creative nonfiction. I used to write personal essays about being a bouncer. I won a writing award about an essay I wrote about being a bouncer on Halloween, and how every fucking asshole like came up to me with a mask on and gave me their ID, and they were like, "Well, I don't look like my picture," and I was like, "I'm gonna fucking hit you in your stupid little mask and your stupid little face, fuck you." But yeah, I used to write about the bar a lot, and then yeah, I won a writing award, and then I tried to write short stories and tried to get some published and tried to get some poetry published. And I got a lot of like positive rejections, right? Like people were like, "Hey, this is good, just not now." And then I fucked up and made some life mistakes and dropped out of school and got real depressed and didn't write for a really long time. And then I launched Blake Buzz and started writing comic book reviews. And now I'm kind of getting the itch to tell stories again. And so I'm just interviewing writers and creatives all the time. So I can steal all your fucking ideas and one day launch my own Kickstarter maybe and just fucking take the world by storm.
I mean, you've got a winner with Bob Clam. A name like Bob Clam. That guy used to pull.
You really do, man.
That's actually my follow-up question, because apparently I'm interviewing now. So you have a creative writing background, and you're super into comics. So this may feel super relatable to some of the guests on the show. When are you gonna write a comic, Blake?
Man, I know.
Because we're not talented. Like it's all Rowe and Don who make comics. We're just like for a couple hours.
You should see what we do.
Right.
Bob,
can we get your book, man?
No, I want to. I submitted a short for an anthology to Band of Bards, and they turned it down for the anthology, but they're kind of interested in maybe turning it into a one shot later. Nice. But I have to develop that, and I am the idiot who hasn't developed that yet. And so so I mean, like I'm talking, I'm trying to make moves, and I do want to. I've heard that, like, so I've interviewed like David Pepose a couple times, and we talk sometimes, and he like another really talented guy who likes me for some reason, I don't know why, and like and we've talked, and there's like so many people that have started with like comics discourse and comics journalism that have like started writing reviews and then ended up like making amazing comics, and some people have like talked, and they're like, "Dude, like you're like going down that path," and then that like scares me, and I get nervous, and I'm like, "No, shut up, you can't say that yet," because I don't know what's happening. But yeah, I do want to tell stories. I love this. I love getting to talk to you guys. I love getting to talk to creatives, and I love getting to read so many comics as press that I wouldn't have the chance to read as like a normal consumer. But yeah, man, the goal one day is to do something, and I just need to write, and I'm almost there. Like I'm getting over the hump of like being scared and intimidated, And the more I'm learning a lot more about the scene too, to, like find a good artist that you vibe with, that you can, that helps you tell your story. Yeah. You guys, you wouldn't know shit. You wouldn't know shit about that. Don doesn't know shit about that, about like finding awesome creative teams and fucking like leading the way to greatness. But yeah, so like I'm starting to learn that like like when you find somebody good to work with, like things can happen. And so so yeah, like anyway, so I want to tell stories, and I hopefully get to transition one day. But I still wouldn't want to give this up, like, but it does. I interviewed Eric Palicki, and Eric was like, man, Blake, like,
love him.
And it's like, dude, he almost made me fucking cry during our interview. First of all, he was wearing a Blake's Buzz shirt as I'm interviewing him. And I was like, fuck you, man. You can't do that. Like, that's against the rules. And then, and we're talking, and he told me how, like, he was like, dude, I'm so excited, like, these moves you're making. And like, he's like, it's just fun to like watch you grow. And like, and I was like, dude, stop. You're like getting me all in my feels and shit, man. Like, I'm going to have to like edit this out. Like, I'm like sniffing. But he was like, I hope one day for you, man. Like, I hope one day, like, someone excited about comics talks to you like you're talking to me. And dude, legit, like, choked me up. Like when my dad told me he was proud of me, I was like, oh my God. I was like, woo. Like, so it just like hit me real hard in the guts, and I was like, damn. So it's cool to, like, I don't, no one's read any of my prose. Like, I don't really have anything out there for people to read. Like, the only thing people have read from me is comic reviews and my bullshit twitterings. And it's crazy how, like, some of these people that have written stuff that I'm just so wildly impressed with, or like act like, they like lift me up like that, and it freaks me out. And I appreciate it.
Honestly though, Blake, if you write comics half as well as you make this show and everything you do for the comics community, I think you're going to be doing just fine. As far as rejections and stuff like that go, with submissions, don't take those personally, man. I know you hear that time and time again, but just go out and make something. Make it for you. Ignore submissions. I wouldn't even apply to them, to be honest. A lot of that stuff is very just personal taste, man. It's luck of the draw more often than not. Just go out and make something. Make something.
Put your rejections on the wall. Put your rejections on.
Dude,
the wall.
I used to do that. I used to hang my rejections up, and my friends and family would be like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'd be like, "No, it used to make me submit more, right?" So like, I love talking about submitting shit, because like, man, I'm like old enough now. I'm 36, right? So like, I used to submit short stories when you had to, like, you print it out, you fold it up in an envelope, and you send a self-addressed stamped envelope, right? And then I also submitted when like Submittable became a thing, and you paid like $3 to send it to all these different magazines and shit. But like, I've played the game, like, and I've been, and like I said, like, grad school kind of burnt me out. Like, the MFA programs, I know a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about them, and a lot of people find success. And a lot of people also, like me, get burned out, and it stifles you. It halts your creativity, because there's this, it's not supposed to feel competitive, but it sure is, man. When your fucking classmates are getting published, and your teachers are fucking telling you like, oh, you're such a good writer, and blah blah blah, and and it's just like, well, if I'm a good writer, why am I not getting fucking published? And it's that irritation. So but it was also cool. But it was also, man, like, they brought in at UMKC, like, they brought in guest lectures, and like my thesis advisor like wrote a book that got reviewed well in the New York Times, and so it was like cool to like work with these people. But since I've done the podcast, since I started this show, like, all I do now is talk to creators, like, and of like a wide success margin, like indie people, or like I've reviewed people that wrote X-Men, I've reviewed Kickstarter people, and it's just so awesome to like get to talk to you guys and kind of learn how shit works, right? Because it's like, there's so much I didn't know about Kickstarter, other than backing cool stuff. Then I started like interviewing you guys, and like the Kickstarter stressors, and like how to keep up with everything, and like having to talk to a bunch of weirdos like me to like get your stuff out, but just,
that's the worst part.
I mean, like, I can't even imagine it. But like, just take, you have to do your own press. you know, a lot of you guys have to do your own shipping. You know, you got to keep track of these orders. You got to do all this shit. Also write and draw and make the comic book, and then print it, and then make sure the prints look good, and then make sure, like, when you get the big shipment of everything printed, that like not everything's fucked up, and you know, put all the little packages together and then take them to the post office. Like, there's a lot that that you guys do with Kickstarter that like a lot of people don't realize, you know. And then those little assholes that don't realize that, those are the ones that are like, well, yeah, I've been waiting 6 months for this. I haven't even gotten it.
I love those little assholes. I think they're all great. I was really clear about that.
Especially when they back our books. They're just the best people.
Three real quick things. One, Eric Palicki is amazing, and Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists is one of the best indie books.
Oh,
of the past
so
5
good.
years.
Oh my God.
I just want to be really clear about that. Fucking amazing book. Just really great. Two, Freehands has gone up almost $600 since this live stream has started. So thank you.
That is not true. Are you fucking serious?
Look at the link.
Thanks,
It is absolutely true.
I can look at
thanks
it.
to everyone who backed it.
It was at $3,133 when we started. So just FYI, good job, and then up here on Blake's Buzz. But third, and this will be the longest part, but still pretty brief. I just want to really nail in something Blake just talked about. Because I feel like a lot of the people who watch indie live streams and indie shows and involve themselves with indie websites like Comic Book Getty and whatever, and engage with people like me and like Matt and like all these other great guests on Twitter and Instagram and all the other social media platforms, is a lot of these people are people who want to make stuff, right? They're people who are aspiring. And they want to figure out what the difference between people who are doing it and people who are aspiring is. And I just want to tell you all, and this is specifically for Blake because he was saying it, but it's also true for everyone else who wants to do it. The barrier is just starting to make things. It really is. And Gail Simone did an incredible job. I've spoken about this a million times.
Her comic school was awesome.
Right. Just look up #comic school and go through the exercises, or buy the Nice book, The Art of Comic Book Writing, if you want to be a writer. If you're an artist and you actually have talent, just start drawing comics. But like, just do the thing. Make a small project, do 3 pages, 4 pages, 8 pages, whatever, and then move from there. This is all very accessible to all of us. I'm not a genius. Will's not a genius. Alan's not a genius. Don and Matt have a skill set that they've worked on for a really long time, but also not geniuses. We can all do this. So come hang out and come make a thing with us, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're not going to make money, and that's fine.
Yep.
I don't make money now.
Right.
There you go.
So,
fuck money.
Man, if you want to make the thing, like maybe someone will make funny on the internet. Fuck those guys. Matt and I have gotten bad reviews before on the internet. I give literally no shits. I think it's hilarious when people don't like my work.
I love it. Really. Say some bad stuff about it. It's just it feeds me. But there's this horrible mentality that's really popular in comics, and it's about breaking into comics. There is no breaking in. Just make a comic. If you want to do, and that just goes across the board with most creative mediums. If you want to do it, just do it.
Yep, just do it. And find someone who's willing to work with you. I pay Matt Rowe entirely too much money for the work that we do. But look at that fan. Think that fan was free?
I've had that since I was 4.
I bought that fan. I bought that fan for him.
But seriously, so Matt and I, we connected on Reddit, which is a dumpster fire on the internet. But we connected on Reddit after a couple of false starts on my part with other artists, and now we work together all the time.
And I've worked with a variety of great artists. I worked with Jeremiah Sheikh, who I fucking love. Ray Lelesher, whose name I'm probably pronouncing, but I like working with him a lot. There've been a ton of really great artists I've gotten the privilege of working with and collaborating with because I did the legwork and wanted to write scripts. All you got to do is just want to do it, and then find the way to do it. But don't get discouraged by people on the internet who are like, you need to do X, Y, and Z thing. The only thing you need to do is make the thing. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. If you guys are looking at the wall images behind me, that's just doing it, man.
Right.
When people see you do it, hopefully you'll find your tribe and they'll encourage you. And that's you guys are giving away the secrets, man, to how to break into the industry. Essentially, that really is all it is you just got to get to it and do it. Just put out your work. And if anybody's listening and watching this, if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, please go to the Comic Creator Connection panel. If you're out there, you want to learn how to make comics, I'm part of a comic book creator collective called the Sketchy Bug Group. It's based out of the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach, California. It's made up from amateurs all the way up to professionals in the group. Obviously, I'm in the group. And we will help you. There are people out there that are looking, that when they have the time, if you just ask, they will help you. And we are in a fantastic industry where you can meet your heroes. And I feel like I've had that experience. I hope you guys have had that experience where you've met your heroes, ask them politely if they have the time to look over your work, and they'll do it if they have the time. And it's really special, I feel like, to be in indie comics, Blake. And the fact that you are doing what you do is incredible, man. Like you pump us up. I've been on the show obviously with you before. You just got a great energy. So don't be afraid. Come into these groups, man. If you're ever at an event, just come by. And WonderCon does it too. I know. Shout out to Johnny C, who's on the East Coast, and Jeff Ryder. Those guys do this AfterCon network group, which is trying to connect creators so that they can make projects. So if you are just looking for somebody to collab with, Blake, just come and find those guys, or find me, or any of us, and hopefully we'll point you in the right direction and help you get your stuff made.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Hey, you do a lot of panels, or you have been recently, Don. You've done a few panels at a few cons in the last couple months, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on a panel every day of San Diego Comic-Con, so please come find me. I do one that is now associated with the Comic Art Professional Society, CAPS, which was founded by Mark Evanier and Sergio Aragones, which is fun to say. So Sergio, everybody knows from GRU, but we put together a panel called Mobile Workspace, where we are trying to show you that, like Matthew said, it's democratized now. I started drawing, storyboarding, and I actually do all my thumbnails off of my phone. And so the Mobile Workspace panel is to show you how you can do it just from your phone, from your iPad, from your mobile device. You can get your comics out there. You don't even have to. You can hand letter everything, although I do recommend lettering off of a better device. But yeah, these tools are at your disposal, and they're easily accessible. And if you have the passion and the desire to make comics, there's no reason you shouldn't. You don't have to be the best artist. You don't have to be the best writer. Just start getting your stuff out there, because you'll improve with time. Especially if you go to portfolio reviews, look for people that you respect, whose work you enjoy, and just ask them if they have a minute, or check to see if they're doing portfolio reviews, and get a portfolio review. And hopefully they'll be able to elucidate the process, or give you some tips and tricks that might help your work improve. I feel like I'm doing it every day, man. I'm just I'm really at that fake it till you make it thing, where we're gonna see how it goes. But
well, looking at this cover image on the left, I don't think there's any faking it before you can make it, because I think you've got a really great style. This is the retro page, retro #1 from Kickstarter.
Thank you.
On the left is Don's cover, and then on the right is your kind of cosplay cover, which is the actor from the live action.
Yeah, so that we call that. Yeah, we call that our live action cover. That is Reno Wilson. If you guys ever watch Mike and Molly, he's Mike's best friend in that show. He plays Carl. on Good Girls, he's read his character's husband, and they've already done the short, and it's being submitted to film festivals. So, like I said, there's a tier where from there on up, you can have the opportunity to come to a virtual screening and check out the film with us. But yeah, super proud of this book. I feel like I've done some stuff that I haven't done before and explored some techniques, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
I think I like the way you do action. I think your action's very streamlined. Right before this, you did a wrestling book, which is of course also going to have a lot of like, in the ring kind of action, right? Like, and so like, I think I like your style a lot, and I mean, we can look at it here, and even with the grayscale, the art still pops. I love the panel layouts. I don't know. I've liked your art for a really long time, and I'm excited to see like the new stuff you have coming out. And everybody should check out Retro. And you guys have like an easy website. It's like who is Retro or what?
Yeah, whoisretro.com.
Who is
Retro?
Yeah.
Just go to whoisretro.com.
Can't get any easier, ladies and gentlemen. Whoisretro.com. Go fucking click it. Back this. You can get an affordable tier, and then you get an animated short, and you get a live action short, and you get a fucking dope comic. Don, because this is number 1, so like, yes. And it sounds like a more intense story, right? So it's not going to be a one shot. How long you guys thinking of running with this?
Aaron is currently looking to create it as a 12-issue maxi series, but obviously, you never know where the story's going to take you and how it's going to go. But he's working simultaneously and amazingly has compartmentalized his storytelling, because he's done the short film, and obviously in 5 minutes you can't tell very much. So we knew this was always going to be a comic book project, but he's also doing the novelization of it, and I think it's going to be fun. I've posted some process stuff through my Instagram and Twitter, my social media accounts, where you get to see from storyboard, also storyboard versus frames from the movie versus panels from the comics, and you get to see the differences and the nuance between each project. But yeah, we're looking to do a 12-issue maxi. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully everybody enjoys this first issue. The second issue we are already thumbing through. We have a fantastic team. Ellie Wright, who has worked on Mortal Red Sonja, Batman Shadow. She's finishing up for the coloring for us. I originally colored and lettered 10 pages for Pitch. We got a 27-page book, and she's doing 16 of that. And Jerome Gagnon, who everybody knows from Orange Cone Productions, shout out to him and Orange Cone. And
shout out to him, but he can kiss my ass because he never comes on my show. I love that motherfucker, but he never comes on my show. We
got Matt, and he's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He always skips out on my shows. Like he'll be like, and then what's even more irritating, that one time it was one of Travis's books, but he was like he was like, they were like, yeah, Jay's not coming, and I was like, that motherfucker. And then he was commenting in the live, and I was like, come on the show, you bastard. Like, you're in here commenting. Anyways, I apologize. I apologize. We lost Will. Will had to bounce, and I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at paying attention to comments on the live stream, guys. Like I gotta like watch your guys' comments and then watch the live stream people's comments and then like talk too. And it's, man, like, it's like holding your little pee-pee when you're trying to pee in the toilet, man. Like you gotta like aim and get in there, and if like there's too many distractions, you're just gonna piss all over the place. And that's what I did tonight, guys. I pissed all over the place.
The trick is being willing to piss on yourself. That's really,
oh yeah,
that really has served me well.
That just kind of sums up indie comics, doesn't it?
Yeah, piss all over yourself.
Piss all over yourself. Yeah. Launch a Kickstarter. Anyways, Alan, I am sorry we lost your co-writer. Like, please forgive me, but Pocus Hocus.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's
just it's late here. We're in West Virginia, and it is almost midnight, and we're both dragging ass from a long day.
Well, let's talk about your fucking awesome comic real quick then. Before you fall asleep on me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, holy shit! Like, first, remember that movie Prestige? Fuck the Prestige. This comic is like way fucking better than Prestige. It has like the same intensity, but also makes you laugh. I love the humor. The humor is so strong. Alan, you have to. One thing I learned, as I mentioned before, I like to mention this all the time. Like I was a fucking MFA student, right? And I know a little bit about writing, and one of the hardest fucking things to write is real humor, really making people laugh, really finding that moment. It's harder, I think, in comics. You know, with prose, you can kind of build stuff up. You can paint the scene more in depth. You know, you have a little bit more control in some instances. But in both prose and comics, like you got to be sharp on the dialogue, and your dialogue is a fucking Japanese steel katana, sir. Like it will fucking cut through steel. You could fucking slice a fucking Gundam's arm off with your shit, dude. Like it's good. It's so good. Like it's punchy. It's fun. You know, even the demon, even like this fucking demon is even a wise asshole, right? Like what made you want to blend? Because you could have totally you could have went like real intense horror, you know, high stakes, travel in hell, selling your soul, right? You could have like taken that narrative in a different way, but you walk down this path with like a foot in both worlds, where you like make us laugh and freak us out a little bit, or like show us a really cute little kitty. And that ain't a cute little kitty, baby. Like that thing's gonna do more than meow, right? Which we see. What made you decide to structure this comic that way, and to just like really celebrate the humor of it all, which in this genre we don't get a lot?
I'd like to think that Will and I are funny dudes. So it was just one of those things, like when we were writing the script initially, it'd be kind of funny if we did X, Y, or Z. So then it just kind of devolved into that, and we just kept putting in our one-liners and the dark humor aspect of it to really drive the point home with it. And I don't think we tried to really go out of our way to make it hyper funny, because I have a really dark sense of humor and a morbid sense of humor, and Will does as well. So then we just tried to just throw that into this world that we created.
So we're issue 4 is live right now. You can get
Yes.
1 through 3. And then issue 4 is live, and then issue 1 is about to be re-released to a wider audience and through I can say this, right? This is
totally fine.
All right, yeah. Okay, cool. Source Point Press is gonna put out Pocus Hocus issue 1. We don't have a street date yet, though, right?
Not yet.
Okay. But if you don't want to wait, you can get all 4 issues in the current Kickstarter. You can get them digitally, you can get them physically.
Yeah, we did a trade paperback in this one as well.
Oh, you got it. Oh shit! Don't tell me that. It's gonna cost me more money. I love collections, man. I don't know why. Like I'm usually really into hardcovers, but like with Kickstarters, we get hardcovers sometimes, but the Kickstarter trade paperback is more the collector route, these days, because putting out a real gorgeous hardcover ain't easy on Kickstarter. It is expensive. It's hard to ship. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with Cupcake's comic reviews here and just post this bad boy right here. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Nope. Yeah. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, we're lagging.
Support that Source Point Press does in fact fuck.
Dude, they fuck hard.
Yeah,
hard
as hell.
Not only do they fuck, they fuck hard. They wear you out, and then when you wake up in the morning, they make you biscuits and gravy. It's
so
real
gentle.
Romantic. Yeah,
except at that moment when you don't want it to be gentle anymore. They fuck. They just fuck.
They do.
And then Joey's got an update. It looks like you guys just broke 100 backers. That's awesome.
Yeah, we had 102 earlier today.
Oh, then you came on here and lost 2. All right.
Wow. Yeah, as Kickstarter goes, you know how it is. So this one was our first day 1 fund. So
nice.
So we launched at 8 a.m. yesterday, and we funded within 9 hours. So that was pretty wild. So we still have 28, 29 days to go. So we're hoping still just for forward momentum and making this the biggest campaign we've had so far.
I won't lie, I'm an asshole and haven't backed it yet, but that's because I got to figure out what issues of Black Jackets I have, because I need to order, or Because you can order. Oh wait, no, wait. Is it? Can you order back issues? Because it's not bad bug.
No,
right?
yeah, so what we do have on here, we offer 2 ash cans. One is a mini that we did with Kit Wallace, who
Okay.
he works with Source Point and has done Good Boy with Garrett Gunn and Dr. Christina Blanche. The other one is for our new title that's going to be coming out after this one. It's called Grandma Chainsaw, and it's about a serial killer granny.
I'm into that.
So
I'm
very
into that
that
already.
sounds awesome.
That's very like Steve Urena-esque of like
Yeah.
that's very that's like did you guys talk to Steve? Did he be a co-writer on that one?
Yeah, so we actually on the campaign, we have 2 trailers, one for Pocus and one for Grandma Chainsaw, that are both animated trailers done by Prevalent Mind Studio. So if you guys get a chance, check those out. We're really happy with how they turned out on there too.
Exciting. And Joey said something you guys got a metal trade, a metal
Yeah,
cover trade.
Yeah, we have a metal trade.
Man, that shit. So like I recently got my first metal cover because I used
they're
to swear,
sick, right?
I used to be, but I swore I would never do it. I was like, it's
Mhm.
dumb. I mean, it's not dumb, it's really cool, but like they're expensive, right?
They are,
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're cool sounding, but they're very expensive. I got the Metal Shark Bro metal cover because I love Metal Shark Bro from Scout, and it's cool, and I'm really glad I got it. But yeah, like the metal trade, like that's just that's interesting. So is the back cover going to be metal too? Is it like metal all around?
It's the front. It's just like how a floppy would be. So the front is metal. It's a metal plate on it, and then they somehow work their wizardry and just stitch it all together. And metal covers still blow my mind. Actually, VHS tapes still blow my mind. I don't even know how the hell they work. So metals blow my mind as well.
Another funny story about Blake's life is I started my first job was at Blockbuster, and DVDs were coming out like at the same time that I worked at Blockbuster. And like oh my god, I had to rewind so many VHS tapes.
Mhm.
But I remember my store manager when DVDs came out, she was like, "These won't last." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Like, all right, yeah,
but yeah. Like I remember like some like VHS.
I actually worked at Blockbuster as well.
Nice. I still have my name tag.
I'm sure mine's somewhere.
My buddies used to call me Buster Blake, and they like they put Buster on my name tag. So like my name tag at Blockbuster said Buster Blake. I was cool like that. I had a nickname at Blockbuster, and I was rewinding tapes all day and watching movies all the time, and spent all my money on used DVDs. It was neat. We're going too long. I always apologize. Like it's so easy to talk to all you guys. Everybody's dropping like flies, and I'm sorry. But so Pocus Hocus is amazing art in wonderful colors. A limited, well, depending on the scene, a limited palette, right? It's like the more magic and metaphysical we get into your narrative, the more colorful and vibrant it gets.
Right.
Really
yeah, that was something that we really wanted to drive home. Was just I guess because we start with issue 1 and 2, and they're predominantly in black and white. You see splashes of color whenever something demonic or magic is happening, and then once we get
bunny,
right, and then once we get into issue 3, that's when it really pops off. So yeah, the other ash can is actually the origin story of our cute little bunny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting. Man, I love ash cans. They're so cool. Matt did say goodbye. You all are heroes. Like, thank you for tuning in. I really hope you guys check out his pirate comic. Freehands is so sick. Matt, thanks for putting up with me. Sorry, I'm long-winded and don't know how to time stuff. Like I need a timer. I need a timer and I need to start doing like segments and get organized and all this shit. But guess what? That sounds exhausting. So we're just gonna keep. This is the clusterfuck approach to indie comics, is what Blake's Buzz is. Anyway. But yeah, so that's live right now. And you said so the fourth issue's coming out, and you're thinking you're 6. Is that what you're saying?
So this one altogether now. Originally, we kind of had it mapped out for 6, but it grew a lot faster and was received a lot more than what we thought it would. So the first arc is 4 issues, and we are working on the second arc now alongside of it. So that's why we decided now was a good time to go ahead and do the trade. for the first
Okay.
4 issues. Yep.
Nice.
That's awesome. And you're still, even though this is, you're still involved with Bad Bug, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. We're all really good friends. Mike and I live in the same town. So yeah, and they're all just an amazing group of guys over there.
yeah. Everything I've read has been awesome. From you or the other creators. Also, the way they print comics is great. And you know, it's just like you're gonna get like a nice comic from Kickstarter if they back with you guys. I feel like the new issue of Hocus Pocus is gonna be, or Pocus Hocus is gonna be the same. And so also, okay, like I know we need to wrap up, but I do want to know, like, where did this name come from? Like, how did that happen?
I don't know. We like obviously
we're done. Fuck
yeah,
this show.
yeah, for real. Like we're thinking about like so what's a good fun mystical thing for it, and you know Pocus Hocus was the placeholder, but it's like, well, hell, everything's named Pocus Hocus that has magic in it. I feel like so then we just switched it, and we're just like, okay, let's just have that. Or it's Hocus, but God, it's so I can't even say Hocus Pocus anymore. It sounds wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah. First of all, I love the opening imagery we have here. Also, I love the font and your
yeah, Dave absolutely killed it. Our letterer and designer.
Nice. You got some solid pull quotes here. Here we go. Here's oh my God, this fucking art. Look at this demon. Look at this horny, mouthy little fucker. Oh, I love him. Oh man. And the teeth, the eyes, it just okay. And here's what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of grayscale initially. And then as more, you know, as the story opens up, as these powers envelop and the magic blossoms, we get this beautiful color. And even the letterers, like the different fonts and the colors and the black bubbles, like this is so good. This art's fucking gnarly. Look at that. Look at that. It's crazy.
Keep going. It's the money shot coming up.
Money shot's coming.
Right there.
Oh man. That's so good.
Yeah. It's fun. I love it. Brian, Jason, Dave, they all just did so great. And then
look at this cover. This cover's great.
Yep. So these are we have 4 covers on this one, 5 if you count the trade.
Okay. Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and we have our Kiki's delivery service one. And then our Kit Wallace cover.
That's sick.
And then here's our next one's our trade.
Oh shit.
Oh, that looks nice. Is that the
that's
metal
like
one?
That's so that's just the regular trade. Obviously the metal one will have, you know, the metallic coat and everything like that too.
That's like some real Necronomicon shit right there, man.
Yeah, so that was an idea that Brian and I were bouncing off of each other. We decided to go ahead and make it the Demon book. And then here's our Grandma Chainsaw preview that we have.
Awesome.
And
that's
then we
a
have
great cover.
Yep. It's the same Pocus team. And then there's our trailer for it. So if anyone gets time, they can do that. And then here's our Horus and Hell Ash as well.
Man, see, all right. So you got some cool stuff. Yeah, you know, let's party. Everybody go back this. Let's get this. Let's make this happen. Somebody buy me the metal cover. Like, just do it because I'm a nice guy. But no, I mean, even a $10 physical. Like, I mean, these prices are really fair. I think, especially for the variants and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're so happy with how this one turned out.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous and it's fun and it's funny. I haven't really read any. Like, I read a lot of comics, you know, and I haven't read a lot like it, you know, and that, you know, and I say this all the time.
It's awesome to hear, you know.
Well, I say this because I interview so many Kickstarter people, but it's like you guys get to take those chances, right? And you get to tell that story. You don't have, you know, everybody. Yeah, you guys have editors and stuff too, but you don't have like editorial, like, well, is this going to sell? Is this going to market to this group? Like, is this, you know, like you guys get to kind of like say, fuck that and do what you want. And it's super punk rock and awesome. And I think it pays off a lot of times. Like, yeah. I mean, there are some times where it doesn't pay off, I'm sure, but I'm almost at 300 backs on Kickstarter. And I've had one bad Kickstarter experience and it was still a good comic. It just irritated me with how things fell out, you know, like, but I've never gotten something where I've been like, this is dog shit. Like but I've gotten a lot of shit from Big Two or even like a Image or big indie title, where I was like, this one didn't hit for me, and so, but I cannot think of a Kickstarter where I've been like, man, this was a bummer. I wish I didn't back it. I haven't had that experience yet. So, but anyway.
Well, hopefully we keep with that trajectory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, I feel like just like with Don, like I've read Don's other stuff. It's really hard for me to think that retro is going to shit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And after reading, 3 issues of Pocus Hocus, it's really impossible for me to think that like, oh, like, yeah, this 4th issue is just, you're going to fuck it up. Like, I have enough faith in you guys as creators to know that there's just that it just can't happen, like it's the balls, the snowball has started as a snowball and it's ended up as a giant comical crazy boulder rolling down the mountain, and now you can't stop it, right? And so you guys take that momentum and you make something great and put it out there for all of us nerds to read. And so I think both of you, both Don and Alan and your creative teams, like if I see your name on something, I'm gonna back it. Or if I see Bad Bug on something, I'm gonna back it. And I will continue to back your guys' comics, and I'll sit here fucking drunk screaming from the mountaintops like, buy this shit, you fucking fiends. Like,
well, we appreciate it, man. I think Cupcake brings up an interesting point, which is we are indies and we're on this. They are passion projects, but at the same time, we like are so anxious. There's so much anxiety that goes on with doing a Kickstarter, let alone creating your own projects and getting it out in the world. So there's a lot of time spent on like quality control.
And I feel like one bad Kickstarter could just ruin us, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, like we're
no pressure.
Yeah, for real. Like that's how it is. Because who are we?
Yeah.
Although how's it feel when you fund early? Like even when you fund early, are you still like freaking out about other shit about the
definitely campaign? Because there's still so much to go, and obviously we're so happy that we were able to fund within that short amount of time, but we got to keep going. We still got 28 days, and making a comic book isn't cheap. Printing a comic book is not cheap, and shipping is not cheap at all. So like everything that we get from the Kickstarters, I could almost guarantee 100% of it is going right back into it to fund it and to go back for the next issue.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important. I think if every creator was honest about how much money they really needed for their Kickstarter goal, no one would ever fund.
We try to account for that, and we try to account for all the variables that go into it. So me personally, I love being part of teams. Like I said, I've been a part of, this is my 16th Kickstarter that I'm a part of.
Oh, that's awesome, man. How have you not had a heart attack yet?
Thankfully, I haven't had to run all of them.
And his hair's not gray or anything.
Yeah. That's genetics.
Yeah.
But like whenever you're a part of it, even if you're not the ones leading the charge, there's always that anxiety for sure. But at the same time, anybody out there who's watching this, who's listening, I'm sure you feel the same way, Alan. We appreciate the fact that you guys are supporting indie comics and supporting us, especially right now where inflation is just like killing us. Gas prices are nuts. And the fact that you guys are taking time out of your day, money out of your pocket to support these projects and bring them to life, it really does mean a lot. So please, people, one of the weirdest questions I ever got when I first started tabling at conventions is, how much do you charge for signatures? And for me, listen, they're free. Just come by. If you pick up any of the projects I've been a part of, I just sign them for you. And I'll do a remark. So if you want some quick free art, by all means, just drop by. Yeah. And I always do like a quick doodle. And I do it on Sharpie because I've had experience with that. So yeah, please, again, thank you. Check out all the projects. I've already dropped something onto Pocus Hocus. My brain is starting to melt in terms of like not trying to say Hocus Pocus.
I can't say
it's hard. It's so hard.
I can't do it. I'm the opposite. Now if I hear Hocus Pocus, it sounds weird.
And then I popped in a little something for freehand, and like you, Blake, I love this community so much. I love our medium so much. And I feel like that's all we kind of want to do is like just be passionate and like make these projects and have fun in the community and meet great people. So yeah, if you see anybody's names here at a convention coming up, like I said, I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. I just got news this week that I'll be at C2E2, my first time in Chicago. Looking forward to that. Please come say hi and check out all the crazy projects we have. I don't even bring all the projects I have to conventions because it's just paper is heavy. It's really, really heavy.
Yeah, I that was one thing I never thought about was like when you guys table and like, especially if you've got like trades and all these issues and stuff and like bringing all that with you. And then if it doesn't sell, like the shit you have to bring back home and like all like just all the shit. So it's funny, like all this stuff that like, when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, you know, before you hear it, when you're just like, yeah, I just buy comics online sometimes, and like, I back this Kickstarter. It's easy peasy. I watch the numbers go up, and then it funds, and then I get a comic later after I forgot about it, right? And then it shows up in the mail, and I'm like, oh yeah, neat. That's why I like Kickstarter, because it's like so many people complain about like the wait time. Like I like the wait time. I'm not the only one. There are so many people. We buy a ton of fucking books and we don't have time to read them all, right?
No, I'm like 20 some odd short boxes behind right now.
Yeah, so it's not like any of us that back a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
If your Kickstarter's delayed a month, it's not like we're all going to be sitting around like, I don't have any comics to read. Like, I'm out of books. Like, none of us are ever going to fucking run out of books. And now we have like Marvel Unlimited and DC Universe, and I just fucking got on Hoopla, and everything I've borrowed on Hoopla is expired because I haven't had time to read my fucking Hoopla selection. So it's just like there's a wealth of material for all of us, and I'm excited the position that I'm in, you know, that I get to check stuff out early and interview guys and talk about it, and I'm still excited as a consumer to like to get those fucking Geminis in the mail, baby, and get like those stickers and bookmarks, and like I get hyped, I get pumped, I get excited, and so I just I hope you guys know, and again I really do I apologize to like Will and our guests that had to bounce. I wish. I'm trying to get better at giving everybody more time, and it's tricky sometimes, especially when you have like, you know, 6 people in the chat and I don't know how to shut up. That's the main problem, is I don't know how to shut up. But I appreciate you guys like coming on the show, and I'm super excited for Retro. I'm definitely excited for more Pocus Hocus. I want some fucking grandmas with some chainsaws, baby. Like I'm like, this is cool stuff. This is shit like the lack of fear to make that weirdness gets me fucking pumped, man. Like it, like Pablo the Gorilla, like just the wild ass fucking, you know, hairs you get on your ass, right? When you're like, you're like, oh, I got this crazy idea, and to run with it, and everybody has said it, and some of you guys said it to me tonight. Like, now's the time. If you want to make a comic book, fucking make it. Get off your ass and make it. Now, but still, like, you know, yes, like you can make your stuff, you can make it happen, and it's cool to see that. But there's still some like upper echelon, you know, campaigns and stuff coming out with amazing stuff, and you guys are on that higher tier. Everybody on the show tonight was on that higher tier, and I really encourage like anybody who listened, anybody who watches this later on YouTube, like check out Pocus Hocus, check out Free Hands, and check out Retro. And give these guys a chance, give these guys some money, even if it's digitally. You can back digitally. There's no shame in that. I have to do that a lot because I'm poor. It's fine. You still get cool comics, and you just read them a little differently, right?
And
you know,
space management too. You get to save some box space.
No more short boxes. No more long boxes. No more. I had a fucking new puppy that like only ate comic books that were in bags and boards. That was fun. I only lost a couple, but like like regular comics sitting out, he didn't no interest. But like if something was in a bag and board, man, he wanted to eat it. That fucker.
Oh no. Oh, Cupcake is saying Chicago is great. Make sure to eat some Mexican. I always do when I go. I'm in Los Angeles, so we get real snobby about our Mexican food.
Yeah, I'm in the Midwest, so we're lucky for whatever the fuck we can get. There's some good places like that.
Okay.
Like there's some good like street taco places, and we got some good food trucks. So I mean, like we can get good stuff. but yeah, you got to kind of hunt for it. It's not as easily accessible as you guys got out there.
But that's also the fun part, man, is hunting down good eats. Oh, love that. I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about food, and I'm so hungry right now.
Dude, same. Like people have told me a couple times, they're like, dude, your social media is so weird and works. And it's like, it's a bunch of dog pictures and a bunch of food pictures. And then you just talk about comics. And I'm like, that's basically my life. I'm not that interesting, guys. Like I have a couple dogs that I love. I love to cook. I love to buy and read comics. So like, that's what you get, baby. That's what happens. That's what happens in Kansas City at Blake's Buzz. But yeah, so guys, I know it's late and I've kept you and I appreciate you so much. Real quick, and I didn't get to do this while everybody was here, but like Alan, where's a good place to find you at and keep track of you on the social medias and follow you so we know where we need to know when the chainsaws and the grandmas come out to play. We need to know where to be in the front of the lines. Where do we find you at?
Yeah, so best place to find me is on Twitter at Chaps of Fury. You can also reach out to us, pocushocuscomic@gmail.com. And I think this kind of speaks with everybody, but follow us on Kickstarter, just so you can be notified when anything goes live or we have an update.
Awesome. And Don, where are you most active at?
I am on Twitter and Instagram, probably the most, a little bit of Facebook. Find me at Winning It. This is the most common Vietnamese last name. It's right there at my little Chiron, Nguyen, add an INGIT to that. Battle Grapple Rebel, which is the wrestling comic you were talking about. That hopefully is, I mentioned it's in production right now for coloring. They're going to send it to print, and hopefully I'll have it in time for San Diego Comic-Con. And then I will be at C2E2 for the very first time, joining that Reed Pop family. So hopefully I'll have some issues there for you. And Dave Wheeler just informed me that he is also at C2E2. So if we have Battle Grapple Rebel at hand, you can come get it signed by the both of us. And then please come to whoisretro.com. That's live right now. I think we're like 3 backers away from 60. We just passed the 2,300 mark earlier today, trying to get to 2,400. And just fund that thing. But I just want to say to Alan and to his team, congrats on funding on the first day. That's always incredible.
Yep,
Your book looks fantastic, man. And congrats on being with SourcePoint. I heard those are good dudes. Shout out to Dirk Manning and Drina and the rest of the team over there.
Yep,
that's super congratulations. And also, Kayla, thank you so much. I so appreciate the kind words. Trying to do this every Wednesday. We may take a break next month. I know I said some shit on Twitter. I was cranky. I don't want to like quit this. I just want to like get better at it so that like my guests don't leave in the middle of the show because they're sleepy and I forgot to talk to them. Like I'm trying to get better at Blake's Buzz Live. So we're there's going to be a revamp coming and there may be a short break, but I appreciate that. Everybody who tuned in, like, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for popping off in the chat. Like tonight was a good night. We had a bunch of people hanging out, a bunch of people commenting. It looks like some people backed the campaigns. I'm sure our guests appreciate that. And you know, I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank these guests. I want to thank these fine creative gentlemen that can draw and write their fucking asses off, and everybody who follows me, who listens to me, who listens to the podcast, who's been around. Thank you, and thank you guys, and anything I can ever do for you in the future, future projects or whatever, press release. You guys need a review, like I'm here for you. I'll do what I can because like I said, I believe in you guys, and I think you've been consistently dropping the heat, and like you can't get rid of me now. Like I'm there. I'm there.
Can't get rid of us either, man. We appreciate what you do. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Cupcakes. I see you. You're following Alan and me. That's much appreciated.
Yeah.
And feel free to follow us on social media and shout me out. I'm usually a loudmouth, but I try to keep it low key for conventions and doing panels. And like I said, I'll be on a panel every day at San Diego Comic-Con. So if you're out in San Diego, please come find me and say hi. I'm going to be at HH03, or as I like to call it, H-Ho, next to the amazing Carl Altstetter, who's worked a lot with Rob Liefeld, and down a couple doors from David and Mack. Shout out to those two fantastic gentlemen.
Dude, David Mack's insane.
He's just one of the nicest people in comics.
I heard he's like
Yeah.
super nice, and he's also like he's like ripped and like does like
Oh.
backflips and climbs trees, and then
Yeah.
like fucking. I can't even explain his art. His art's so fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
if I had more
Man's
money, I
incredible.
would buy every fucking foil variant he does. He's got a new 1 in 100 from Vault that I'm just like mad I can't get because it's like.
You know what, dude? Save your pennies and just buy original art from him. He comes with originals, like, you know, they're not for the fan of heart if your wallet's big, but I'm telling you, if you have the money to buy. If you have the money to buy originals, anybody out there listening, it is a solid investment, especially if you guys have been paying attention to the market.
Yeah.
In this last year, in terms of like pages going, like it's kind of insane how much pages and covers are going for. And I always spat off on it. Buy original art, especially from comic book artists that are up and coming or have been in the game for a while and now are getting their shine. Like Ray Anthony Height, he's another one of those dudes. He's got original pages. He just did a stint with Milestone for their Milestone history book that just came out recently.
Yeah.
He was on Star Wars Dr. Aphra, one of the coolest dudes you could ever meet, and just, you know, an upstanding example in comic book creation. I will be at Baltimore Comic-Con as well. That's where I met you in person for the first time, and you came by and said hi, so I appreciate that, man.
Man, you're fucking everywhere. Where do you like live? Where do you stay when you're not at every con in the world?
I am in Los Angeles,
You're in LA,
California. Okay. So my local shows are, you know, WonderCon, LA Comic-Con, Comic-Con Revolution Ontario. Just did those. I'm honored to be a part of San Diego Comic-Con officially this year. I got a table that was supposed to be in 2020, and that got pushed off. So I showed up as special edition, and then this will be my first official table. And my very first solo artist alley table was at Rose City. So that's another con that is near and dear to my heart.
Alan, you tabling anywhere, making any trips?
Not yet. We're hoping that 2023 it will be the year for us to do that.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that's exciting, guys. I'm gonna play the outro and I'm gonna end it. This was super fun. I appreciate it, and I wish you. I hope you guys make a ton more money as your campaign. Your campaigns are still got a little bit to go, right? So we can still get those dollar signs in, ladies and gentlemen. Get your cute little butts to Kickstarter. Get your little clicky fingers ready and give these guys some dollars for some great comics. It's a super good deal. Like, what else are you gonna do with your money? Can't take it with you. Got to get rid of it now.
Hey, and every dollar helps. And even, you know, if you can't pledge, please share the projects from our social media accounts. And if you do pledge, do us a favor. Please leave a comment because that does affect the Kickstarter algorithm and it'll help boost us and get more eyes on the project.
Does it really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't. I always try and make sure to like the updates because I heard that helps. Like when you guys release updates and like it, I always try and do that.
Yeah, like and comment. I cannot emphasize that enough. And I tell all creators that I meet who want to start a Kickstarter, you start out with a small audience. Nobody knows who you are. Get people to comment, like, and share.
Nice. I'm going to start saying weird shit on your guys' updates.
Oh, definitely do, man. you should jump into the old Battle Grapple Rebel comment section. We went kind of nuts on that.
All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much. Retro. Not Hocus Pocus, but Pocus Hocus. Can you make a harder title of a comic to say? Like,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
And it's like a mental tongue twister. It's amazing. I love it.
And the guys bounce out, but Free Hands is the new pirate comic that you guys have no idea how much you need. I wish you all the best of success. Many more Kickstarters. I'm gonna be there to back them. I'm gonna try and be annoying and make other people back them too. And if not, fuck them. They're wrong. If they don't want to back your comic books, fuck them. All right, don't put that on your pull quotes, but I still mean it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Both you guys, you're fucking awesome. I wish you the best. Don, I hope you have a blast at SDCC, man. I like panel the shit out of those panels, baby. Like if you're like, I can listen to you talk forever. So like, I feel like you're good for panels. More people need to have you on. Alan, you're awesome too, man. You're a great writer. You're funny, and everything I've read from you is dope as fuck too. So
Thanks, man.
both of you guys are cool. Thank you for coming on my show. I'm going to play the outro, or I'm going to keep talking because I don't know how to shut up. I'm sorry. Blake's Buzz Live, episode 15, ladies and gentlemen. We did it again. We'll be here next week. We'll be here the week after that, and we'll probably be here the week after that too. I don't know. Here we go. Good night.
It's Blake's Buzz Live.